the fifth day of Elul. September 7th, 2024, Motzei Shabbos. You are listening to Torah with Simcha. Now we go on to discuss the Ir HaMiklat. We have something super fascinating here. First of all, the Ir HaMiklat is one of the places in the Torah where we have the Rashi Tevos of Elul. And I don't have the pasuk in front of us right now, but Elul in a certain way is an Ir HaMiklat. The month of Elul is a time a person, whatever they did during the year, comes Elul, Hashem gives you the opportunity to do tshuva for a month. Whatever happened, happened. And whatever is going to happen is going to happen. But for right now, Elul is a little bit like outside of time a little bit. And Elul is the Ir HaMiklat. Rav Dessler used to explain that Elul is like a springboard for the whole year. He would say that there's Bechira Klalis and Bechira Pratis. So we know that there's little choices that we make each and every day. And then there's big life choices. Where you make one choice, it changes your entire life. He used to say in Elul, even the Bechira Pratis becomes the Bechira Klalis. The decisions we make in Elul have an enormous impact, much more powerful than any other time of the year. And perhaps because of this, it's no coincidence that all of the schools, even regardless of religion, start in the month of Elul. This is going to determine the entire year. The way things are done in the month of Elul, that has an enormous impact on the rest of the year. That's called a life decision. The decisions you make the rest of the year are little decisions. But in Elul, even the little decisions is a life decision. So it's extra important. It has a more powerful impact on your life when you make a good decision in Elul. And the same is true vice versa. And in a certain way, if you're Sfard, you're lucky because you're saying Slichos every single day. And in a certain way, if you're not Sfard, you can at least get up and daven. I guess you get a little bit more sleep, so it gives you the opportunity to daven with more kavanah. If you're not Sfard. Okay, so each one picks their own. Each one makes do with the minhag of his particular minhag. What comes to the Ir HaMiklat, in the Ir HaMiklat is very fascinating. So, in the Ir HaMiklat, we have Reuven. Reuven accidentally killed Shimon. He killed Shimon by accident. Reuven had a hammer, he had an axe, and he was knocking down a tree. And unfortunately, the axe part came off of the wood, and it then killed Shimon, unfortunately. So the halacha is that, amazingly, Shimon's family is actually allowed to kill Reuven. The Torah allows, it's almost like the Torah realizes how angry Shimon's family is going to be. So they allow, it's called avenging the blood of Shimon. So they're allowed to kill Reuven, but they're only allowed to kill Reuven provided he's outside of the city of refuge. He's outside of an Ir HaMiklat. Once he enters the Ir HaMiklat, they're no longer allowed to kill him. Once Reuven's in the Ir HaMiklat, if anyone tries to kill him, they now get the death penalty, if there's witnesses and all that. Okay. The question, however, is now we have Reuven's in the Ir HaMiklat. So, if Reuven's in the Ir HaMiklat, Shimon's family is not allowed to kill him. But the question is he ever able to leave the Ir HaMiklat? if he wants to be safe, does he have to stay in the Ir HaMiklat? Does he have to stay in the city for the rest of his life? So we know that Chazal tell us no. Chazal tell us that when the Kohen Gadol passes away, once the Kohen Gadol passes away, so then Reuven's free to leave. That's what has to happen. In fact, this is so intense that the mother of the Kohen Gadol every year before Yom Kippur would come to the Ir HaMiklat and would bring food to all the people there. Because it's unbelievable. You have a whole city of people who are davening for the Kohen Gadol to pass away. We know on Yom Kippur, when the Kohen Gadol enters the Kodesh HaKadoshim, the Holy of Holies, is a very scary time for the Kohen Gadol. There have been many years where the Kohen Gadol did not make it out alive. So before Yom Kippur, people are davening that the Kohen Gadol should pass away because everyone in the Ir HaMiklat, they want to leave. So the mother of the Kohen Gadol, she doesn't want her son to pass away. So she goes to the Ir HaMiklat, brings them food, hoping that they shouldn't daven that her son passes away. But the question, what did the Kohen Gadol do wrong to deserve to have an entire city of people davening that he should pass away? What did this Kohen Gadol do wrong? And Chazal tell us that because if the Kohen Gadol would have been davening properly, if he really would have davened properly, the whole calamity, this whole accidental murder, it never would have happened. So the fact that it happened shows that his tefillah was not as powerful as what it could have been. We find in the Gemara many times, we find in the generation of this Amora or Tana, there never was a rainbow. Or in the generation, we find sometimes just one person makes all the difference in the world. So he's just one person. There would be no accidental murders if he would have davened properly, or perhaps even been a perfect role model, the domino effect, maybe would have had it, but certainly the davening. So that's all fine and dandy, but let's take this a step further and think about this. What happens if Mr. Old Kohen Gadol, Rabbi Old Kohen Gadol, he dies? But when did he die? He dies on the way. Reuven is on the horse, on his way to the Ir HaMiklat. Now realize, the roads to the Ir HaMiklat are obligated to be paved well, to be 32 to 64 feet wide. And there has to be signs all over the place telling you where the Ir HaMiklat is. Reuven has to get there as quickly as possible, because otherwise Shimon's relatives are going to kill him. So Reuven takes off. He takes off. Maybe he has a motorcycle, an electric bike. Maybe he has a scooter or a car, a truck, whatever he has. Or maybe he's just running. Whatever it is. But in the middle when he's running, Rabbi Old Kohen Gadol passes away. Alright, so when Rabbi Old Kohen Gadol passes away, while he's running to the Ir HaMiklat, you know who's running back? All the people in the Ir HaMiklat, they're running back. He died. Everyone's free. Everyone's free to go. But what about Reuven? Reuven's not free. Reuven's not free. All the people who were in the Ir HaMiklat, they're free. But Reuven never arrived at the Ir HaMiklat yet. Had Reuven arrived at the Ir HaMiklat, then the Kohen Gadol died, Reuven would be free. But Reuven never arrived at the Ir HaMiklat, so now Reuven's going to come to the Ir HaMiklat. Nobody's going to be there. Everybody left. Everybody left. Even the 7-Elevens closed down because everybody left the Ir HaMiklat. So finally, Reuven makes it to the Ir HaMiklat. So the question is, when does Reuven go free?
No, first do it.
When does the Kohen Gadol already died? Right. So they appoint a second Kohen Gadol in place of the first Kohen Gadol. And now we have one person living in the city. There's got to be more than one. There's 6 Ir HaMiklats actually. There's probably like essential things that are there that you can look up, are just there, that have to be there probably. So there's probably more than just Maybe there has to be a 7-Eleven, I don't know. Probably not a 7-Eleven, but alright, so Reuven's there, and when does he go free? So,
And then Joey was like,
he goes free when the second Kohen Gadol, when Mr. Rabbi New Kohen Gadol passes away. That's when he goes free. So we have a Bam Kasha here. The Bam Kasha is, you tell me the reason why Reuven goes free when the Kohen Gadol passes away. It's because had the Kohen Gadol been davening properly, then the accidental murder never would have happened. But that only holds true by Kohen Gadol number 1. Kohen Gadol number 2 wasn't even a Kohen Gadol at the time that the murder took place. He wasn't. So what shaykhs does he have to the death that Reuven did, the killing that Reuven did to Shimon? What shaykhs does he have?
maybe
So-
he knows something wrong.
Maybe they both. So this brings us to a little talk about Beis Din and how the truth is HaKadosh Baruch Hu is at Beis Din. And it used to be people wondered, why can't you use video cameras for witnesses? Nowadays, I think we know because of artificial intelligence, but maybe in the future they will. But there's a certain way the Torah wants the court case to go. 2 witnesses need to come, they need to testify. Then if 2 other witnesses come and they testify, hey, you, Joe and Shmo, the first witnesses, you couldn't have seen Reuven kill Shimon because you were with us in Disneyland in a roller coaster at that time in Florida. So you said Reuven killed Shimon in Barrow, Alaska, but you were with us in Florida. So the Torah says we believe the second group of witnesses and not the first. There's no reason why we should have to believe the second group of witnesses. It doesn't logically make sense, but it's from a pasuk. We learn from a Gezeres HaKasel. We learn that from a pasuk. So there's a certain way the Beis Din has to rule. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is part of the court. The way they come out is not necessarily the truth, but it's the way Hashem wants it to come out. So Zok, whoever it was, wherever I saw this, they say like this, that, you see, not all accidental killings require going to the Ir HaMiklat. And Beis Din has to investigate whether this was the type of killing that requires going to the Ir HaMiklat, because certain accidental killings are so far-fetched they're not even an accident. The person's 100% innocent. For example, if Reuven would have taken a pillow and smashed Shimon in the head with a pillow, they had a pillow fight, and then Shimon died, Reuven's 100% innocent. He doesn't even need to go to an Ir HaMiklat. So, not all cases of accidental murder require an Ir HaMiklat. Generally, if the item had iron in it, that's considered a weapon of some sort, an axe, a hammer, and he would have to go to the Ir HaMiklat. But Beis Din has to investigate the details of the situation and has to arrive at a decision. Does this person have to be at the Ir HaMiklat or not? Until Beis Din reaches a conclusion, the person's best off in the Ir HaMiklat. He should be in the Ir HaMiklat. Reuven should be in the Ir HaMiklat. Reuven's in the Ir HaMiklat. If Reuven does tshuva in the Ir HaMiklat, he cries, he has charata, he says vidoy, maybe even fasts. So then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will make it that the Beis Din will come out that he's innocent completely. This is why it's the fault of the second Kohen Gadol. Because if the second Kohen Gadol would be davening properly, then Reuven would be doing a tshuva gemara, and he would therefore be off the hook completely. He would be innocent. If Reuven, if the psak ends up being that Reuven has to stay in the Ir HaMiklat, and the psak is this was an emes, an accidental murder, So that's a flaw in the Kohen Gadol's tefillah, even though it wasn't on Yom Kippur. But there are those that say that would be a flaw. If his tefillah was mamish 100%, it would have caused a tshuva, and that tshuva would have caused the Beis Din to paskin that he can leave the Ir HaMiklat. So now the fact that Ruvain is stuck in the Ir HaMiklat is the Kohen Gadol, even the second Kohen Gadol's fault to some extent. Even he bears some responsibility for it. And Memela, even the second Kohen Gadol, even though the murder did not take place when he was the Kohen Gadol, the murder took place under old Kohen Gadol, and that old Kohen Gadol died. Even so, the halacha remains the same, that Reuven is only free from the Ir HaMiklat when the new Kohen Gadol passes away. Someone asked in Shul, they asked, what should happen if the Kohen Gadol died What should happen if the Kohen Gadol is the one, if the Kohen Gadol is the one who committed the accidental murder, so the Kohen Gadol goes to the Ir HaMiklat, seemingly. The second Kohen Gadol Alright, so does he remain the Kohen Gadol? Do they make a second Kohen Gadol? If he remains the Kohen Gadol, I guess he's there for life. If they make a second Kohen Gadol, so, we would have to first see what all the halachas are in that case before we start getting into a discussion about it. What I find about this whole thing very inspirational is, first of all, the fact that a person should never give up, no matter what their situation is, and no matter what it appears. It appears like a person did a crime, didn't do a crime, but the tefillah, Kodesh Baruch Hu could change everything with tshuva. Over here, we're saying not just here. You see both tefillah and tshuva. The Gzar Din, even in Beis Din Shalmata, could change as long as they have not issued their psak yet. So tefillah and tshuva of the person who did it, and the tefillah of over here we have the tefillah of the Kohen Gadol davening that this person should be doing tshuva. And we see in the Gemara too the ability that tefillah you could daven for others to do tshuva, and where's the bechira? And the other person's doing tshuva. Is it their bechira that's doing tshuva? So I heard it said once, no, but it's the bechira of the one davening. Through their bechira, the other person's doing tshuva, and perhaps there's some bechira to that person as well. The one doing tshuva, maybe not always, maybe yes. There's a lot to reflect upon, and a lot of inspiration to incorporate into our lives. The more we reflect upon all this, and you'll also think of new chidushim when you reflect upon this, and realize that Elul is hinted to in this Ir HaMiklat, in this parsha of Ir HaMiklat. Why would Elul be here in the Ir HaMiklat? Why is Elul? So these are some inspirational thoughts that one could learn from the Ir HaMiklat. The inspiration so far, we haven't seen tzedakah, which is a big thing too in Elul, but we haven't seen that over here by the Ir HaMiklat. I'm sure it's there. But we have seen the ability of tshuva and tefillah, which are big, big things. And Emir Tzashem HaKadosh Baruch Hu should give us the ability to do a tshuva gemura and to daven properly with kavanah, to make all of us better people, at least to be growing, and halavai to the point where we bring the ultimate geula, Mashiach, at the very least though, some geula. many, many different levels of geula that are needed, obviously, of course. Our own personal geulas. And the world right now, on many levels, many places, a geula. So our own growth itself, that's also a salvation from us being trapped within ourselves. The growth, there's freedom and escape. That also is a geula. So may HaKadosh Baruch Hu help all of us in this time of Elul, this Eis Ratzon of Elul. Our Ratzon has more of an impact right now than other times of the year. So may HaKadosh Baruch Hu help us internalize this message the way it's meant to be internalized and utilized for the very best. Have a good vach. Thank you for listening. You are listening to a podcast called Torah with Simcha.